miss your chance to win a brand new 2022 Honda CRF450 Works Edition for 10 bucks. Go to www.kaplancycles.com. Buy your ticket today. Guys, feast your eyes on the definition of motocross unobtainium. This is an absolutely pristine, museum quality, showroom, brand new condition, 1991 CR250R. And this is a bike with one hell of a history. In fact, this may be the only motocross bike, box stock motocross bike, ever to win a national in the hands of a privateer. John Dowd, right out of Southwick, Massachusetts, won the 1991, I think it was a Hangtown, I know it was a California National, on this exact bike as a privateer. He purchased it from Parkway Cycles, took it to California, bone stock. Matter of fact, the same day that he won, Doug Henry, another New England privateer, won on a 91 CR125. Honda was dominating in that era, and these bikes are absolutely fantastic. This thing is pristine. It's right as rain. By that, I mean everything about it feels super tight. The clutch, the transmission, the Wizard just went through it, cleaned the carburetor, put fresh fuel in it, did what we call a preservation service. All the fluids were changed. The brake fluid, front and rear, were flushed and filled. The antifreeze was flushed and coolant was flushed and filled. The gear lube was flushed and filled. Brand new air filter and a new spark plug. Other than that, this bike is 100%. The fluids and the tires are the only items on this bike that are not the originals.
Yep.
And let me ask you something. In any motorsport, at the national level, what other motorsport can you take a bike right out of the box and win a national? There's really no other motorsport where the bikes were that competitive right out of the box. And what other motorized sport can you take a 30-year-old item like this out of the box and still be competitive? This bike would still be competitive against the 254 strokes. It should dominate on most tracks, especially a sand track with good traction, because this has more horsepower and more torque than a 254 stroke ever will have. This thing is absolutely pristine. It has original plastics, original graphics, original handlebars. The original waffle grips are still on here. It has original levers. If you zoom in.
This bike is textbook, no time. Every piece of plastic is original. The original radiators are perfectly straight. It's the original pipe is present, no dents. The original silencer. The thing absolutely barks. This is probably before there were any noise regulations at the races.
Guys, when we bought this thing in, this has been Wizard tuned. He went through the bike. This is a picture of the Wizard 1991 at the Southwick National track, 24 miles from where we are today, on a 1991 bone stock right down to the pipe CR250. Suspension wasn't done. It was exactly the way it came out of the box at the Southwick National. This bike was competitive at the national level out of the box. When the bike came into the shop, we just elected to leave it all original. We did not repaint the pipe. We did not paint the frame. You can see it has a little bit of wear on the side right here. We could easily touch that up for you if you buy the bike and you want that done, but we wanted to leave it original.
The frame paint is incredible on this bike. Like up by the stem, it still has that gloss look to it, and it has not been touched up. You see the VIN number, it's like perfectly etched there. There's no, a lot of times you see around the VIN numbers where it gets down to bare frame, it gets a little crusty, not this bike.
Agreed.
This thing's
Look at the
total
condition
virgin.
of the forks. There's no rash from being roosted because it's never been in a race. The original stickers that get blasted off when you power wash it are still on there. The original rims are perfectly straight. The spokes, everything's in pristine condition. The chrome on the fork tubes, the original plastics are in beautiful condition. The original number plate, you rarely, if ever, will even see an original number plate on a 30-year-old dirt bike. 31-year-old, that's the original.
The fork lowers are also perfect condition. There's no wear whatsoever, actually.
Usually the front of the pipe down here gets a lot of road rash and dents and dings. The front of the pipe is perfect. There's not a single ding in it. Let's check out the frame rails.
Perfect.
As you'd expect on a no-hours bike. The pegs are in perfect condition. The shifter, the kicker, the original factory exhaust system, including the baffle. It even has the stickers, the warning stickers, which is the first thing most privateers would do, is take those off and put their FMF stickers on there. The original saddle, the original graphics, just a beautiful piece. The rear wheel, it even has the original chain and sprockets on it, which are in mint condition.
I wanted to show the original front brake line, which you see these get all clouded up. It's a little bit discolored, but that's one of the nicest ones I've ever seen.
Billy Blythe pointed out they usually would bend right here too. and this one's obviously unmolested, unhammered. Now most guys like John Dowd would take these out and destroy them in a season of motocross racing. The first thing to go is usually the original handlebars. These are the original factory, out of the box, Honda, unretouched, unpainted bars, levers, grips, the original wire ties are intact, the original
And the
kill
tank.
button in the gas tank is original,
There's no wear on the
unscratched.
tank.
Of course not, because the graphics aren't worn either, and those are the originals too. The back of the radiators, those usually all got bent in from power washing and from mud and stuff. I don't think there's ever even been mud in these radiators. Obviously, a time capsule of a bike, and what a great way to come back from our trip to Florida and Kentucky, riding the brand new 91 CR250. This thing's an absolute rocket ship. I feel honored to swing a leg over this thing and rip it up and down the driveway for you guys, but that's about as far as I'm going to go. It's too nice to take it out and rip through the mud and get it dirty, as much as I'd like to. It's just once in a blue moon do you find an original, unretouched 31-year-old classic motocross bike like this. So the Wizard went through the bike front to back. Every nut and bolt on there was torqued to factory spec. Again, he changed all the fluids in the bike have been changed, and it was adjusted, tightened the spokes, went through everything. Check the sprocket bolts. You zoom in on that sprocket. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful, like the day it came out of the box. It even has a sticker, which is always blown off, power washing very easily. I could take that off in about 10 seconds with a power washer. Original swing arm stickers. The original chain guide is in mint condition, as are the chain rollers and sliders are all intact, original mint condition. The pegs have no bending on them. The lever is perfectly straight. It even has the original, this is something you never see. This is the piston stroke 72 millimeter sticker on here. Very rarely, if ever, will you see one unless it comes out of a crate, because when the engine heats up and then water is introduced, it just peels right off. The original clamps for the hoses are intact and in brand new condition. The drain hoses, the motor has no indication of ever having had a wrench on it. It's perfect, and it freaking straight up flies. This thing's an absolute rocket ship, indicated by my little test demo there. Take a look. These are normally all rusty looking and gouged up and or repainted or powder coated and replaced, but that's an original. If you want a museum quality CR250, buy this bike. If you want a bike you can take exactly as it sits right now to the Southwick track and win an amateur motocross race with a 31-year-old bike against the new bikes, pick this bike, because it's entirely capable. These things handle like a dream. They're fast as hell. They're super light. They're easy to work on. Parts are still available. It's about as good of a two-stroke 250 as you can possibly swing a leg over. Total rocket ship. We know Jeremy McGrath, the king of motocross, won all his championships, or most of his championships, on a 93 CR250, very similar to this one. He loved the steel frame, and when they switched to the aluminum frame, he jumped ship to Suzuki because he couldn't ride the first generation. Didn't handle well for a supercross, it was too stiff. These bikes flex in all the right places, and they attenuate the vibration perfectly. Very little vibration. Fantastic piece. I wish we could keep it, but that's how we keep the doors open to the museum, is selling these classic bikes. So this one's going up for grabs. If you want to leave it here on display, we'd love to keep it. Call us if you have any questions. 860-454-7024. It's being rolled into the museum, where it's going to be right next to the Doug Henry bike that we have on display. That's a permanent, forever bike here. That one's not for sale, but we have one of Doug Henry's 250 Hondas out there and a Ricky Carmichael replica. So thanks for watching. God bless America.